All right, guys, we are live today on a beautiful Saturday morning, Saturday evening, where FUBU's at, and we want to give him a proper intro. Returning guest, most viewed podcast on our
Hey,
YouTube channel.
I feel like Ronaldo. I'm back to break my own records. So this time I'm going to break my previous record, and I'm going to be first and second most viewed on your channel. That's the goal.
Oh
That's the
my
goal.
gosh, that'll be amazing. Welcome to have you back, FUBU. How has everything been since our last podcast?
Uh, since the last podcast, it feels like a lifetime ago. But I have to say this: best FIFA ever. Best FIFA ever. The game sucks, but this year I met a lot of nice people. Starting with you, Koballa, one of the nice
Okay.
people that I met. I got Footy because I already know from last year. I had he changed his name for Z FIFA 18. I don't know why, but I think it was 8. I got Lazy Foot. I got a bunch of Mullarks. Mullarks was a great person that I met. Greeno. So this FIFA, I have to say, it was really, really, really positive on the people that I met. I don't want to say, oh, I made contacts. Now, you guys, when I start talking to you guys, you're not contacts, you're friends. That's how things roll. And yeah, since last time, I met a lot of more people. Also, Twitter really helped a lot. I started TikTok. I showed you some videos there. And I have to say, TikTok also met some nice people there, a lot of content. Finally broke the 1K view. I had a video that went almost to 2K. I was really proud of that. I started a new channel, which isn't 100% going because the game cycle is ending, which is FUBU87 competitive, which is only FIFA and other competitive multiplayer games. I decided to spread because the thing is, you probably know it, the algorithm on Twitter, on Twitter, on Twitch. I like to play RPGs. I like to play those RPG games. And if I play a lot of RPGs, the algorithm won't attract people that like FIFA. And when I start playing FIFA, the people that like RPGs go away. So I decided to have one only for the RPG crowd, which is mostly the crowd that I already have. And then I'm going to start one from zero. And I'm going to start playing FIFA and being very active there. But I think it's going to be when FIFA 23 starts. But yeah, that's basically what's been going on since our last podcast. It was
Awesome, man. Awesome.
active.
So it's not so much the game itself, but it's the FIFA season which allowed you to meet a lot of other cool content creators. And some of the
Yes.
ones that you already named, we had on the podcast, like Molarks and Greeno. So shout out to them. And that's great, man. That's great. What else has been good with like the FIFA community in this FIFA? Have you noticed anything else?
Um, Good. I have to say, I think I have the opposite to say. I think there's something that got worse, which
Okay.
was when you started. I'm sorry, it's it's the thing is, it's sometimes it's easier to focus on what's worse, uh, because I usually am a very positive person. I'm like everything is good, but when it's something that I really love, which is in this case FIFA, I can be a little bit critical. But okay, in this bad part, I'm gonna get something nice. Okay, so I don't run away from your question. But from when we started FIFA, okay, if you remember when you're playing Foot Champs, which something that I already told you a few times when you were playing Foot Champs is, if you don't need the win, just give the win away. Remember, I told that on your stream more than once, and I like to do that. If I don't need the win, I give it away. I noticed with the passing, and this is the bad part. Okay, this is the bad part. I noticed that as long as this cycle went on, people stopped giving wins away. Like, if you need a win, you need a win. Okay, that's fair. But if you don't need a win, don't do that scummy thing, which is You pass the ball to the goalkeeper, and you think, oh, he's going to give me a win, thank God. And then he just puts the ball on the offside of
Mm,
the pitch, and then they leave. That's really bad. It's like teasing a child with candy and take the candy away from it. I think
yeah.
that's. But and now this is the good part, which I'll be honest, didn't happen at the beginning of the cycle, but it's happening right now at the end of the cycle. It happened more than once to me, which is basically when I give a win away. Okay, so now during this time of team of the season and a little bit before, when I gave a win away, more than once, I got a text saying, "Thank you so much. I followed you, or you really helped me." And despite the fact, I think the community got a little bit more toxic by not giving wins away. Those little good ones that get the wins become even more humble and become even more nice, and they show that by saying thank you and all those types of things. So there's always, it's like the yin and yang. There's a little bit of yin in the yang and a little bit of yang in the yin, and everything mixes together. And I think it's something like that. Got a little bit toxic, but those that aren't toxic became even more friendly. If I think that makes sense, right?
Hmm. Yeah, I see those aspects of it. I think what's worse is when you're playing like a full game, right? You're close to the 90th minute or you're in extra time and either you tie it or they tie it and they just leave. I think that's
Oh,
worse
oh, yeah, yeah.
cuz they
You
wasted a
know,
lot of time and they don't want to finish it out for whatever
right.
reason.
You're right. Look, and there was a time, I had to stop. I had some, doesn't matter. I had some health issues, nothing that serious, but I had to stop. And then I couldn't get stressed. So I didn't play that much of FIFA. And then when I was feeling way better, I came back. And then I started noticing that, like, I'm winning 1-0, they draw, they leave. I'm losing 1-0, I draw, they leave. And I even came back on Twitter, like, what the hell's going on? And then was Zaid, if I'm not mistaken, or C FIFA. He replied and he was like, first time that's happening to you? Like, yeah, I stopped playing for a little bit. And it goes like, yeah, that's been happening a lot lately. And then I realized there was a lot of games that I'm winning, they draw, leave, and that's really bad. And I think EA really needs to do something about that because it's a waste of time for well, both players, I guess. It is, and I'm telling you now, it's even worse for the person that's winning and the game goes off. And I'll explain why. When you're playing rivals, you have the boost, right?
Yeah.
If you have like the multiple wins, you have it's two, and let's say you have that multiplier on, and you're beating the guy, and you think, okay, good, I'm gonna get a win. The guy's gonna lose anyway, so even if he has a multiplier, he's gonna lose it. But the guy, when he quits, he draws the game and he quits. I lose the win, okay? Because if you're quitting, the person that didn't quit should get to win, and I lose the multiplier. So I am being double penalized because someone is being toxic, and
Mm.
that's even worse. Continuing what you were saying, that's even worse. Yeah, I didn't like when that happened. So yeah, EA needs to fix that for the next FIFA.
Wait, if you lose, if you, if the other person DCs, do you really lose the multiplier?
Yeah, that happened to me. I'm telling you because
Really?
it happened to
I
me.
thought it doesn't.
No,
I thought it still stays
no, no,
even
no, no.
if they
Unless
DC.
look, unless they fix that, you lose the multiplier. Because I remember
Okay.
there was a game, and this was, just to be fair, this was probably around November, December, and I was going on a run. I was going from Division 2. It was when the season resetted. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you go from Elite back to Division 2. And I was tearing people up. Like I waited. I think maybe 2 weeks because I think it was December. It was around Christmas time. I was a bit busy. I waited. I didn't play. I only played the essential games, and then I waited like 2 weeks. I'm like, okay, it's time to go back to Elite. And I was tearing people up. I was going up, and I was half in Division 1, and I was playing a guy, and I think it was 2-1. Yeah, I think it was 2-1. He did the 2-2. He disconnected because he knew he wasn't going to win. Like I was dominating. He did the 2-2. He leaves. And when I went back to the menu, I lost the bonus for winning several games. So it's like you when you draw a game. That happened to me. I don't know. I'm not going to say like it happened multiple times because I noticed that once. But I know, that's why I'm telling you, if they draw the game and they leave, you lose the multiplier. If in the meanwhile, since December, if EA fixed that, I don't know, but I know that happened to me. I'm pretty sure because I was really pissed. I was cursing a lot. I was cursing a lot because I was like, it's really, look, when you're playing bad and you lose a game or whatever, but when you're playing really good, you're in the moment, you get that hype, and they do something like that, and you feel doubly screwed. I was cursing a lot, but I don't know. Maybe EA fixed that. Maybe they fixed it. I can promise that.
I see. Yeah, whenever I had those experiences, when they left, it didn't affect my multiplier unless something happened where, like, EA counted you as the DC, or somehow the other person hacked, or I don't know. But
I don't know. That's like how I was. That's the thing I do remember. I do remember that.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
maybe it was something like a bug. Like sometimes bugs happen.
Sure.
So
right.
Could have been that. Could have been maybe the guy DC then recognized me, but
Sure.
Yeah, basically that.
Yeah, I mean that sucks. That's obviously unfortunate, but
the game's really broken.
That's FIFA, right?
That's
well, let me let me ask you this. What, after playing FIFA 23 and now we're in June, what are your thoughts on the game? Gameplay wise, content wise, good or bad? What are your thoughts at this point?
I'm happy that you're asking this, especially at this moment. I think EA did one of the most stupid promos ever. The Adidas promo, right? Remember the Adidas promo?
Yes.
The numbers up promo. I think that was stupid, which is ironic because one of the best players I've played this FIFA, which was the Adidas insignia, was one of my favorite cards that I played this year.
Okay.
But I really think right now at this moment, I do understand that promos come with super crazy cards, but this shapeshifter promo that's happening at this moment that we're making this podcast, it's one of the best promos that you could have done in the middle of the season, like in February, for example. Because I know we're in the middle, but I'm just going to open Footbin here. But for example, you have Atal. I think Atal, the CM Atal would be crazy in February. It gives different links. You could link it with, let's say, Mahrez, for example. Then you have Striker Son, which is really nice. The Cam Hazard. Of course, the promo at that time wouldn't be 96s, 94s.
Right.
It would probably be 88s, 90s, and so on. I do understand that. But I really, really like this promo. And last year, I think the Shapeshifters one was one of the best. And there's also another thing that's wrong with this one, with this promo, which is, because I don't know if you know this, you know the right wing Saint Just, that's in a promo? He's no longer a player for that team. I don't know the name of the team, but he's going to play in Sporting. He already signed the contract to play with Sporting. So he shouldn't belong to the Bundesliga. He should be from the Liga Portugal. He should be a Sporting player. Then you have Everton, which is the striker version. Crazy card, actually. He's no longer a Benfica man. He was sold, well, it was yesterday. So I give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. But he's going to Flamengo through Benfica sold him for 13 million. So I think what they want to do is really nice, but it should have been in the middle. In terms of promos, well, team of the season and team of the year are always promos, but I think the best promo, and I think 90% of the people are going to reply like me, but I think the best promo they had this year was the Winter Wildcards. That was the best promo. Look, the other ones were, whatever. The Foot Birthday is always a strong one. But I think the Winter Wildcards one was the best promo because it did something different. And also one of my favorite cards, which happened to be an SBC, the Coutinho Wildcard. Look, I'm telling you, the guy skilled on his own. I'm not the best skiller, but with them, I was doing flicks, I was doing roulettes, I was doing everything with that guy. I feel like I just flick once and he would just do everything. So it was, it was really, really, really good. The rest, the gameplay, at the beginning, which this is something that I've always wanted in FIFA. And ironically, it's happening now, but with the other goalkeepers and not mine. I think goalkeepers should be really tough to beat because when you play a FIFA game, I've seen you play, and you finish games like 5-3 and 5-5 and stuff like that. I don't think that's real. And this is not an arcade game. It is a real life simulator, or it tries to be. And I really liked at the beginning of the game, of this game cycle, the goalkeepers were really, really, really hard to beat. I don't know. You remember that?
Yes, I disliked it. Yeah, I didn't like it, dude. I couldn't score any goals. I was getting mad.
Yeah. But that's real life. You understand? I understand that people like people like to score goals and bangers, and that's good for the promotion of the game because it's showmanship. But I really like the beginning of the game that goalkeepers were hard to score against. It's forced me to be a little bit more crafty. Like, you remember there was the finesse problem, like you could score outside goals, like really easy. I started the game. I was really lucky at the beginning of the game. I had Bruno Fernandes and Pogba. And I'm going to tell you now, at that time, and I don't know if I still have those videos, at that time I was rocking a free back, okay? At that time I already had free backs. People are using it right now at the end of the cycle. I was using that at the beginning of the cycle. I had Bruno Fernandes, I had Pogba on the left because I liked his long shots better because I had more curve. And I had on the right CM, I had Bruno. I had Fred, which was my CDM, as the third center back. And I don't remember my other two center. But at the time I was rocking free back. And yeah, I could score from far and that was really beautiful. But it took something from the game because I knew, like, I'm just going to go a little bit to the left, turn to the right. I'm going to do a perfect time, which I'm very proud. I'm very good with perfect times. I'm going to do a perfect time and boom, it's going to go. And I have on my computer a bunch of those videos because when it's really nice goals, I like to save them. But yeah, so inside the box was really hard. Outside the box was a bit more easy. And I liked at the beginning of the game when goalkeepers were hard. Now goalkeepers are hard, but it seems like it's only against me because my goalkeeper lets everything in. Like it's like playing with a goalkeeper and not playing with a goalkeeper at this moment for me. It's the same. Because like yesterday, I played the Ultimate Cup and I won 3-2 on extra time. 3-2 on extra time. And at the end of the game, I had 18 shots and he only had 8. And like, it's crazy. I have Vlahovic from Juve. I remember I shot and the goalkeeper was going to this side, but he stretches his leg this way and he gets the ball. And my goalkeeper was letting everything in because I still can defend well in this game. It's been one of my strong points. But during the game, during the cycle, they made goalkeepers easier. Of course, people found better mechanics to score. There's one now. I don't know if EA patched it, but if you shoot from outside the foot, like the goalkeeper doesn't work, like it just stands still. I saw a video of that like last week or something like that, and I've scored some like that. I've tried, and it works, which is. If I'm sorry, I need to tell this story. I already said this on your stream, but I'm just gonna tell it.
Before you tell the story.
Go.
Just giving feedback on what you said. Speaking with the content first. Yes, I have heard a lot of people did like the Winter War card. That promo was definitely the one that people really liked, and that's when they first released swaps for just that promo. So people definitely like that content. I liked it as well too, and the cards were really good as well. In terms of the shapeshifters, they used to release shapeshifters a lot earlier, right? Like before TOTS, but not after TOTS. Correct? I don't know when it usually released.
I think it was last year. I think they released it 1 or 2 weeks after the Future Stars, which is one of my favorite ones, actually. I like Future Stars as well. But last year, because I remember everyone went crazy because there was a Marcelo center mid, and everyone was going crazy for that card. And they did the Ronaldo, they put Ronaldo on the left with the strong foot, Ronaldo on the right as a right wing, but the left foot was the strongest foot. So they changed some stuff. But yes, the shapeshifters usually came at the middle. I don't know why they made it this year at this moment, but I think it's a fail. But that's EA. They decided what to do, right?
Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, honestly, the shapeshifter cards right now are pretty crazy, man. I'm not gonna lie. You have a 99 Messi with the 5-star skill move, and you have a Son that's a 5/5. Are you kidding me, man? And a Davies that's a striker, or 4/5. What's going on here, man?
Look, I was ahead of EA because when I got Davies team of the season, I was using him as a striker. I didn't use him in the back.
Got it.
Well, I remember I was doing the Bundesliga Cup. I started him as a left back, and I would change tactics and we'd go to the striker. And I'm telling you, I think for a couple of days, like during that Bundesliga thoughts, he was the best striker in the game because the guy was fast, he was strong, he was everything. Of course, then better cards came, but now having a Davies as a striker, it must be really, really fun.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And going to the gameplay now, you talked about the keepers being OP in the beginning, and I know there are a lot of complaints from the community that early on, and that's why they patched it up. And honestly, I was one of those people that didn't like it either because I couldn't score goals, and I was just getting mad. You know,
I understand.
Yeah, I couldn't get wins because I couldn't score, and it was always like a 1-1, 1-0 game. I'm just like, what is this, dude?
I know. Look, and I understand because it's like I said, it's the showmanship. Like you want to have tight games like 5-4. That's really intense. That's really nice. You want to score, let's say, you want to skill through 3 guys, do a rainbow flick, and then do a scorpion kick, and then so you can tape that. And if you tape that, you put on, let's say, on TikTok, like I mentioned, you put on TikTok, you tag EA, then a lot of people will see that. That creates a lot of engagement with you and creates a lot of engagement with the brand and the game.
Yeah.
So I do understand. I completely understand why EA tried to do something. Why they tried to do something and then they changed their mind because they want harder to score. Okay, let's make the goalkeeper tougher. It's tougher. People complain. Okay, let's take it out. I completely understand. EA, this is a business for them. It's a business for me and you. This is probably a lifestyle because we love soccer. Because we like soccer, football. We like that. For us, it's a lifestyle. for EA, it's a business, and they're going to do what's best for the business, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, personally, I think it's more fun to play and watch the high scoring games. I think it's just more fun. And then the low scoring ones, they're sweaty too, but it's just, I have more
Dude,
fun when it's back and forth,
dude, I remember one game, you went to penalties. It was a high intense game.
Yeah.
Like, I loved watching you play that game. You were like, the other guy was really good. The other guy was really good. But you were playing really good. The guy was playing really good. You guys got to penalties, and you were like playing penalties. And I was like this, like I was watching, like here, because my screen, I'm watching him. Yeah, Koballa, to the right. And then you go, and I think you got the ball. I was going crazy, like I was watching a real football match.
Yeah.
Which I understand, it was really intense. People like to watch those games. They don't like to see like a pass. Like, let me give you an example. Barcelona, the tiki-taka Barcelona from Guardiola and I don't know the guy that came after that. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that, look, I'm telling you that tiki-taka, I understand it was the best football at the world at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was boring. Like, not the best, sorry. I'm going to say it was the best team of football at the time. But it wasn't the best football. And I'm going to explain why. I do understand you got the ball possession. It's like an art, having the ball possession. But I think football itself, which goes against what I was trying to say about FIFA, but I think football itself is what they do in the UK, which is attack. That's what you like to see, high-intensity football.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's good to have a high-intensity football with goalkeepers saving a lot. I don't like the auto blocks. Like, that's one thing I don't like. I'd rather have a crazy good goalkeeper than having stupid auto blocks. Because when the computer, like a Maldini, like one of the best defenders ever, okay, you can go some auto blocks. But you can have like, I don't know, Mendy, which is not the best defender in the world. Used to be a really good defender, the guy that used to play in City, now is in Benfica. You can't have an Otamendi against Cristiano Ronaldo, and he has a burst of speed and does an auto block. No, that I don't agree. That's why I'd rather have a great goalkeeper than have great defenders. And I think reducing the auto blocks, you have more chances to shoot, which creates more intensity in the game. But it's also really nice to see a goalkeeper that goes all the way up to the corner and grabs the ball. I think that's also very intense. I think that motivates you. That's one of the things I always talk with my cousin. We like when goalkeepers defend a lot because it hypes us to score. Yeah, I don't know if it's the challenge. The challenge makes us want to be even better. That's why I like good goalkeepers, because, like I said, if I'm playing a guy that defends a lot, I would do a long shot with Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, a perfect time, and it'd go in, and that was easy for me if I ever wanted to win. But yeah, football, it should be high intensity, and that's probably why they made the games easier. And like I mentioned before, when you were playing that game really intense, I was going crazy with the game, and I was loving it really a lot.
Yeah, I know you've been coming through, from time to time. So I appreciate your support and coming through.
Honestly, it's not because we do this. I honestly love you as a content creator and as a person, because you seem like a really nice person. The time that we spend on the stream, of course, distance doesn't allow us to hang out, of course, but from the contact that we have through Twitter, Twitch, wherever, you seem like one of the great good people that I met this year because of FIFA.
I appreciate it, and that's likewise. I feel the same about you. So, what was the story you're about to tell? I know I cut you off, and then there's this amazing story that you got from me. What is it?
What you got for us? I was telling about the outside of the foot shot.
Yeah.
That was this, like, when the team of the season finished, I had a bunch of money, and I decided I wanted to make a 194 draft. I got like really good. I like 193s and stuff like that. But I was like, no, 194 is the one that I want. It's the one that I'm going to tape. Of course, I haven't been lucky with that aspect. But anyway, And I got a really decent. Well, I'm not going to say decent. Okay, I'm going to start from the start. I won 5 drafts in a row. Okay, 5 drafts.
That's great.
2, 3 in one day, and then 2 the other day. And on my final draft of the first day, so the third one, I got this okay team. The first 2 drafts, the team were amazing, crazy icons. On this third draft, I had an okay defense, not the best midfield, but I had Rafael Leão, team of the season, crazy good card. And I had Oscar from the Chinese league, also team of the season.
Yeah.
So a 97 and a 95. And I was playing my games, and I got this really, really good guy at the final. He had Ronaldo, prime Ronaldo. He had Cruyff. He had like crazy good team. And I remember I said last time on the podcast, I like when people look at my team and go like, fuck. Well, this happened to me when I started playing with the guy. I look at his team and I go like, fuck, this is going to be hard. But again, the challenge, it hyped me up to play the game. And I was losing 3-1. And he was doing that stupid dance. You know, the one they go like this, you know?
Right.
Yeah, like the yes shake and everything. I feel like they're making fun of me with that one. And I was like, first time, like, you know, when you see a replay, you like the celebration, you see a little bit of the celebration, and you cut and you continue the game. No, you like, it's like you would dance, but the colleagues are like, this guy's making fun of me. He's joking with me. Like, oh, I'm going to get serious. Like I was chilling like this. I like to play like this. Like I'm chilling, I'm going like this. Like, I'm going to go gamer mode. Just go like this. My controller, I go like this because my TV is right up here. I go, let's go. And 3-2, I don't celebrate. 3-3, I don't celebrate. 4-3, I don't celebrate. No, sorry, I celebrate. I go to the corner, and Ronaldo goes with the punches like, I'm still fighting. And then he scores, and 10 seconds to finish the injury time. So 90 minutes and 50 seconds. I do a red timed finished with the outside of the foot. That's how broken that shot is. And the ball just goes and gets on the other side near the post. Because when I shot, I realized I missed the shot because it showed red. I'm like, fuck, I'm going to go to extra time. But I see the ball going in. And because the guy was being toxic with me, I just start running with the Brazilian guy, I'm forgetting the name now. I start running to the middle with them and celebrating them. I don't like to be toxic, but when people are toxic with me, I get my revenge, especially if I win. So, but yeah, that's the story that came up from the outside of the foot shot rate and how broken it is. A shot in the end, red timed, which is the worst one, got in. And I think these types of things, EA can't let this thing happen, because if you have a broken mechanic, it's going to ruin the game, because everyone's going to do that. Like free back was working, it was the meta, like people say. Everyone was rocking a free back. I rocked a free back as well because I like to win. But then I decided, no, I'm not going to do that. I already have too much of a defense. So at this moment, I'm playing with the 4-2-3-1. And I'm really liking the 2 center backs. The 2 CDMs. One is a pure CDM, which is Tonali, and the other at this moment is Kevin De Bruyne. So I use him more as a box-to-box.
Very nice, great story, man. And we got someone in the chat, Renee. How we doing, Renee? Welcome to the stream.
How you doing, Renee? How you doing?
Shout out to Renee. But yeah, I mean, listen, I only won 1 draft this year, and I'm happy. I'm good. I don't need to play draft anymore. Actually, I could if I want to try out players, but I'm just glad I at least won 4 in a row, you know?
Yeah, that's, I get the feeling. I get the feeling. It's, I shouldn't be telling this because I don't know, my girlfriend's going to watch this, but I didn't like to do drafts. But you want to know how I got into drafts? Not in this FIFA. Okay, not on this FIFA, not last FIFA, 2 FIFAs ago when I was
Okay.
single. Okay.
Okay.
uh, me and this girl were, let's say, really tight. Okay, we were
Okay.
really, really tight,
All right.
and it was like 4 a.m. And I was at her house, and she was like, "You always brag that you play FIFA too much, so well. Sorry, you play FIFA so well. Hey, do that draft thing." Like, oh no, I don't like the draft. I don't. And she goes, "No, no, play the draft. I want to see you play. I want to see how good you are." And I started play. I played the draft and I actually got Team of the Season Ronaldo 2 FIFAs ago. And like I won that draft, and the girl went crazy. Like she really likes like soccer, football. She loves it. She loves it even more than me. And like me playing and winning in front of her, she got special feelings, let's say like that. And I've got special feelings playing draft. I'm like, oh, I'm really good. Then I started playing draft more and more and more and more. So yeah, there was a girl behind the story before I started doing drafts, because when it started, I was like, oh, what's draft? I don't care about that. And after that time, I started doing. And right now, what I really want to do is get that 194 draft. I would really like to do that. But I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of broke. I opened the pack before we started the podcast, and I got the Bellerin, the right back for left back, which
Oh, the
I don't like.
shapeshifter.
The shapeshifter, yeah.
Wow.
The shapeshifter Bellerin. I already sold them for 46K. So,
You
hey,
sold
I
him
got money for my
46?
drafts
Wow. Okay.
again. I
Wow.
got money for my drafts, so I'm going to do that. It doesn't
Awesome.
fit my team. It doesn't fit my team. Look, I got the best left back in the game, which is prime Roberto Carlos. I know there's prime moments, but I'm not going to get there. But I have Roberto Carlos this year, and I had Roberto Carlos last year. And again, for me, it is the best left back in the game, because he does something that I can't do with most cards, which is free kicks. I can barely score free kicks, but with Roberto Carlos, I can. He has the power shot. He has 97 free kick accuracy, shot power. Like, his card is really good when it comes to free kicks. And I can literally score from anywhere. I can score from 30 yards to 15 yards, right close. I can score from anywhere with him, as long as I can do a perfect time shot. He's like the best free kicker in the game, and that helps me a lot.
Well, okay, so for Roberto Carlos, what type of free kick do you do?
So Roberto Carlos, what I do is I don't move him around, okay? I
Okay.
do the normal free kick. What I do is I aim top pins. Okay? Of course, it depends. If you're
Right.
really close,
Right.
you don't need to put a lot of power. If you're really close, let's say 15, 16, which is about a half circle area,
Yeah.
there, what I do is I put on the top pins, but a little bit higher. So part of the circle covers, let's say this is the circle, and it covers like this,
Okay.
the top bar, okay?
Okay.
And then I just go like this. I just tap it, and then I have to perfect time it. The most important key aspect here is you have to green time it, because if you don't green time it, it's going to be hard. And if it's from that area and you green time it, it's going to go in. Like 99.9% of the times, it's going to go in, even if it has a defender. Because what happens is the ball goes up and then dips a little bit, and it goes right in between the defender and the bar. If it's from far away, of course, you have to power it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I've seen people, like, they put the little circle all the way to the left, and then they just put it to the side so it curves. I don't do that. I just put there, and I green time it, and it goes in. And like that game that I was telling you that I played yesterday that I won 3-2, it was him. It was a free kick right on the half circle area, and the guy had the defender, he had all of that, and I just put it top ends. And if you go to my TikTok after this, if you go to my TikTok, I have some goals there that it's with Roberto Carlos. I'm doing actually something really nice, which is goals I score versus goals I score against.
Mm-hmm.
It's like me doing a small compilation. Basically, I put a crappy goal and I put versus a goal that I scored. And one of the last ones that I did was actually a free kick goal, which is something that I hate that happens. But the guy scores a free kick, the ball hits the post, and when Allison is going like this, hits the post, hits the hand, and it goes inside the goal. That's the goal I suffer. And then when it's the goal I score, it's like a 29 yards goal with Roberto Carlos, and you just see me banging a goal, going top pins and going in. So yeah, Roberto Carlos. I don't do anything. It's so good. You don't need to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to green time it. That's it. Green time it.
Got it. We got Favor in the chat. He says, I've gone missing. No, you've gone missing, Favor. I don't know what you're up to, but I'm glad you're in the stream with us in the chat. But yeah, with my free kicks, I generally just do a knuckleball.
Knuckleballs, yeah.
Yeah, knuckleballs. They usually work for me. Or, I get like call two guys up and then maybe make a run and then pass and then shoot.
Yeah. I do. I used to do that one. But again, if I have Roberto Carlos, I don't need to do that one. Especially if they move the goalkeeper. I love when they move the goalkeeper. If they move the goalkeeper, let's say from right to left,
yeah,
I go to the other side and I score there. I know that play. I know that play so much that if someone tries to do that with me, I just defend it. So yeah, right. But I know the tactics. But I don't usually like to do those types of tactics. But like I said, I can score. If I couldn't score from the free kick, maybe I would do that. I would do that because the most important, doesn't matter how you score it, as long as the ball goes in, that's the most important part.
So even if the guy, let's say you have the keeper and, they always bring an extra defender in near the net,
in the line,
you can still make it with Roberto Carlos? As long as you perfect time it, right?
As long as you perfect time it. I'm telling you, let me see if I open my TikTok here, just to make sure, because I don't want to be lying to you, but I'm pretty sure I'm not lying to you, because I posted these videos. But now I'm gonna do this now. But I know I have it here. Like, I'll show you one of these days when you're on the stream. I'll show you.
Sure. Yeah.
I think it's better. We move on, but I'll show you. But even let's say if they move the goalkeeper right behind the barrier, and they put a defender on the other side, I can score, because as long as the secret is you have to put high, because the ball dips. That's the secret. And you don't need to do a knuckleball. Like, I know the knuckleball, you go like this so the ball goes up and down. No, I don't. The ball goes just like this, It doesn't go like this. Mm-hmm. That's what the knuckleball does. But yeah, I could score. Last year, two of my favorite cards, again, for free kicks, it was Roberto Carlos for left side shots, and end of an era Wayne Rooney. Also had everything for a perfect free kick. And at the end, I'm not lying to you. I'm pretty sure I'm not lying to you. I was scoring goals from free kicks from 35 yards with Rooney. And I was lucky. Sometimes I was lucky, but I had to put full power. But if you go with the perfect shot, with the green time shot, the odds of it going where you want to go, it's a lot bigger. And this year is not like that, because I already tried. I haven't scored a 35 yard. I think the most that I scored from far away was 33. I think that was the one that I scored from most far away. But but last FIFA, I was scoring 35 yards, like really, really, really far away. And the secret is top pins. That's the secret, top pins and green time it. So next time you're doing a game on stream, and at this time everyone shoots really well with the free kick, but try like that. Don't do knuckleballs, don't do nothing. Just aim, little tap when you're close, little tap, green time it, and it's gonna go in.
I will keep that in mind. That is great, and for our viewers too.
I'm gonna be at your stream, and I'm gonna be like, hey, don't forget what I told you on the podcast.
All right.
Okay, I'll remember.
Definitely. I'm not good with the perfect timing though. I'm not good with the time finishing.
Oh, dude. It is a mechanic that, I'll be honest, I think it's stupid. it's one of those things. Like it's the same thing with the defenders that auto block. I think it's stupid, but I use it. Right?
Yeah.
It's a weapon that EA gives us, and yeah, I perfected the green time, which is good because it allows me to score a lot of goals. But it's really bad because if you have a bad connection, you lose it. You can't do that because you're so used to. At this moment, I'm having those issues with connection. I don't know why, but I feel like servers, the game is way too heavy. I don't know if something changed and I didn't realize. But players sometimes do an extra movement that wasn't normal. Because what happens is when you play a game so much, or let's say when you do a job enough times, it becomes muscle memory. You don't need to think, you just do it. And it's the same thing with FIFA. I play FIFA so much, and mostly with the same players, it becomes muscle memory. So when they add something and the player does a little new movement, I completely lose the time and I can score. So it's good and it's bad to have the green time. But the green time is a very, very good weapon to score.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, like if you have all these connectivity issues, you're playing on different connections all the time. The timing's always going to be different, and it's going to kind of mess with like your muscle memory because sometimes you're used to timing at a certain time, but if it's a different connection, it's going to be different. So
exactly, that's why it's really good. It's like what you do, it's really good not using the time finished because you won't depend because sometimes you have a clear opportunity and you're going to perfect time it.
Yeah.
And you go with right time and the ball goes outside. So kudos to you to be able to play without that. I really need that to score most of my goals, especially outside the box.
For sure. You were talking about challenges earlier. I know you said about your draft challenges. I wanted to mention to you the challenge I'm working on right now. Okay, so I'm trying to qualify weekend league with the South Korean national team.
Awesome. That is awesome, man.
Right now I'm 2-0. I actually won my first 2 games, surprisingly.
That's awesome. I think that's very good. That's very good.
So, because the Koreans, they don't have too many special cards, So, I'll tell you who I have. I have a Sonado, Son, the Tots card. I got the 2 Tots center backs.
Okay.
Those Korean guys that no one uses.
Yeah, I packed one of them. Yeah, I packed one. I don't know the teams, but I know the guys.
Yeah, they're in some random league.
Yeah.
I have Hwang Yi-chan from Wolves, the striker.
Yes, the striker.
Yeah, and then there's another Hwang Woo-jo who's inform, but he's in the French league. He's in League One.
Okay. I'm thinking about another one. Yeah.
And then they have a common gold keeper. There's a couple common gold, but I went with a lot of silvers, so a bunch of random silver Korean players, but because they have better pace. Because I'm just focusing on the pace. So
look, as long as you know how to break the game, it doesn't matter.
Right. So I feel like I can do it. I feel like I could do it.
I think you can do it.
I just got to win 4 out of the 10.
Dude, and I think next year you're going to be happy. I don't know. Have you seen the leaks from Sheriff for the hero cards for next year?
Are you talking about who I'm talking about? Who I'm thinking?
I think we know the Manchester United guy.
Yes.
Oh, dude, I'm so happy that guy's going to be. I'm telling you, I think he deserves an icon. He
deserves an icon. Exactly. A hero's not good enough.
No, dude. Look, I don't know because I was having some issues again on TikTok. I've been very active on TikTok, but I'm doing let's say a series with the leaks. Basically, I'm catching all the leaks they give, like Sheriff and Foot Criminal and Foot Romania, wherever they give the leaks, and I'm making videos. And what I'm doing on my TikTok is, this guy, you want this and this and that, you want these prizes. What do you guys think? Hero or an icon? I personally think that it should be an icon or a hero. Or, for example, Marquisio. I don't think he deserves a hero because he wasn't that special of a player. Just because he was good on FIFA doesn't mean he was good in real life. And I don't know if I have the audio because, again, I was having some audio issues with TikTok. But one of the things that I said on the park card was there was a game with Manchester United versus Milan. And this is in the memoirs of Sir Alex Ferguson. And he told Park, your only job in this game is to mark Pirlo. Like, why? Just do what I'm telling you. You don't let him pass. You don't let him run. And the guy was like a bulldog on top of Pirlo. And the full game, Pirlo, I think, only did 2 passes. And United went forward. And if you look at the way that United played at the time, like everyone was talking about Ronaldo and Rooney, the wonder kids, but they were like in the forward. Someone was in the middle. And the guy that was in the middle, Park, with Scholes and Keane and whatever, but in the middle of those stars, Park was one of the most important ones. And he was an Asian icon. You know how hard it is, like for a community that doesn't follow football that much, becomes an icon, like Yaya Touré with the Africans is an icon for them. And I think Park doesn't deserve a hero. He deserves an icon because he was such a baller. He was such a baller,
Absolutely.
man.
Absolutely. I 100% agree.
Thank you.
Yes, he's regarded as probably one of the top Asian players. Definitely one of the top Koreans. You're talking about a guy, he's like one of the first Koreans. He might be the first Korean to go into the Prem. I don't
Uh,
recall anybody else.
no. You know, Prem is very restrictive. It's not. It's their football is good because they only let the best in,
Right.
and I don't think that's the viewpoint now because you had players like Park. Now you have Sun.
Yeah.
But a few years ago, you'd look at the Asian player. I'm not only Korean, but I'm Japanese, even Chinese. They would look at them like weak players. They don't have a football culture. But with the globalization of the world, like Son didn't came from Korea directly to the Premier. He didn't come
Yeah.
directly. He went early. He went to Germany. I think it was. I
Yes.
don't remember the team in Germany,
I
but
think it was Leverkusen.
I think it is. But yeah, the Prem is good because they only let the best in. I remember a few years ago there was this crazy talent called Anderson in Porto,
Uh-huh.
Brazilian guy. He played with Ronaldo and Park and Rooney at that time at that great Manchester United team. And he was having problems going to play on the Prem because the Football Federation in the UK didn't want him to let him in because he didn't have the required amount of national games for Brazil and stuff like that. So they have a very big requirement for a player to go in. And for a player like Park to go play for United was a really, really groundbreaking thing for the Asian player because he saw how good he was. He was like, okay, he's not that weak of a player. Maybe we'll see other Asian players. And they started, that's probably when they found out about Son, about Nakata, for example. Yeah, I think the Nakata from Japan, all these different types of players. So yeah, going to Park, going to United was being the first. I really think you're right. I think he was the first on the Prem. Really opened doors to all other Korean and also other Asian players. That's when you got, like I said, Son. You had the guy was from Dortmund that went to United as well. I'm forgetting his name. That he was a really good player. He was from Japan, not from Korea. I'm forgetting his name now. But anyway, yeah, you're right. You're right. I think he was the first, and being the first and being good. Because if you're good, if you're the first and you're bad, it's gonna be bad, like first impressions. But when you're the first and you're that good, you really open doors for a lot of Asian players to go to the Prem.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, to give a little background with Asian football, I mean, yes, you had guys like Nakata from Japan. He was like really one of the first guys because he was
Yeah.
playing in like Syria and he was doing really well as a midfielder. That's why he's well deserved for icon.
Yes,
And
correct.
for Koreans too, I mean, at the time, like before 2002, they weren't really doing that well. No one really noticed Koreans, but I think 2002 really set the stage for both Japan
Hmm.
and Korea, because
Yeah.
Japan went all the way to the quarters and Korea went all the way to fourth place. Okay. And we could talk about controversy and all that. And I
I don't
I
care.
I acknowledge that there was something going on there for them to move up, beating like Portugal, Spain, and like
Ah,
Italy. We could listen, I
no, no,
admit
no,
to
no,
all that.
no. Portugal was deserved. Portugal was deserved because I remember that game, and one which actually was my favorite player when I was a kid, João Pinto. He punched the referee, so it was well deserved going out.
Hmm.
And the team, this is normal in Portuguese people, okay? This is normal in Portuguese people. Like when everything was going well, and at that time, Portugal was they lost on the semifinals with France. Portugal had a crazy team. The coach was good. Like didn't had the big superstar like Ronaldo, but when it comes to players, had the best players of the generation at the time. And then after the Euro Cup that we did, which was amazing, and the qualification that we did to the World Cup, because if I'm not mistaken, Holland didn't play that World Cup because we beat them on the qualifiers. So Portuguese, like we do here in Portugal, people were like this, we're the best, we're the best. So, and then when we get the group, like we get Poland, South Korea, and United States. See, that's how much I
Right.
remember. I still remember that
Yeah.
we're like, this is easy peasy, we're gonna win this. But then we play against the United States, they kick our asses. We play against Poland, and we won. Poland at the time scored 3 goals. Then we play against South Korea. Like, these Asian guys, they don't know how to play football. They don't know what football is. But and again, Portuguese were like, we're the best, going to be easy. And when things started to go wrong, and that player that I mentioned before, João Pinto, he was a short fuse, and things were going really bad, and they realized they weren't going to beat South Korea, and then he punches, and then that's downhill from there on. So I really think that South Korea really won really won the game well. I don't remember their run until fourth place,
Yeah.
but I remember at the time they had a good team. Yeah, they had a good team at the time.
Yeah, I mean, to carry on with my thoughts is
Yeah,
just,
sorry.
yeah, they made a big run and it really put them on the map. And Ji-sung Park was really their best player. I mean, he was the guy on the biggest spotlight. People noticed him, and the coach, the manager at the time was Gus Hiddink, who's
Okay,
Dutch,
yeah,
right?
the
And then he brought him
Dutch.
over to the Dutch league. He
Mhm.
played a little bit there, and then after
Yes,
that, he moved to
you
Man U.
want to you want two championships there. I think it was PSV.
Mm,
Because again, when I do those little TikTok videos,
yeah,
I do my research, so I don't talk bullshit.
right, right,
So
right.
I remember you won. I think it was the second division
Mm,
in South Korea. Yeah, second division in South Korea. Won 2 times to I think PSV the Eredivisie, and then he went to United and won everything. And he was considered, I think it was 2002, the best Asian player in the world. So best Asian player. Like we do the best European player. He got the best Asian player, and well deserved. We have to say, well deserved.
right. So he goes to Prem. He becomes like the first Korean to win the Prem and Champions League. So those are huge achievements for a guy like him. So I think that's why he makes a good case of getting an icon, and the Koreans need an icon. So
I
come
know,
on
I
now.
know, I know. So far from all the leagues that I've seen for next FIFA, really hyped for the Hero cards. But so far, I've only seen one that deserves to be a hero, which, if I'm not mistaken, it's Peter Crouch. Like
Okay.
Peter Crouch, I think deserves to be a hero because Peter Crouch, he went around different teams
Hmm.
inside the Premier League.
Yeah.
He was considered the best player in several ones. never won the Premier League, never was an international icon. You only knew about Peter Crouch because the guy was tall and skinny. Like he scored some goals. So I think because he's like a heroic player for different clubs inside the Premier League, I think it deserves to be a hero. But for example, well, Marquez already told you, I don't think he deserves to be a hero. I think in real life he was a normal player. He won a lot of trophies with Juve, but come on, it's Juve. I could go play for Juve and become champions there, and I don't know how to play. But then you have, I'm trying to remember. You have the guy, the Simeone from the coach from Atletico. I was like, oh, this guy doesn't deserve anything. And then I went to see his background. He won stuff with Argentina. He won stuff in Italy. He won stuff in Spain with Atletico Madrid. And I was like, okay, actually, this guy deserves to be an icon. He deserves to be an icon because he's renowned in more than one country, and he did something for his international team. Yaya Touré is another player that I really think that deserves to be an icon because he won in Spain with Barcelona. He won a lot of stuff in Barcelona. In the Prem, he can have all the titles in the world, but if he has one of the most important things, Manchester City nowadays is what it is because it was players like Yaya Touré and David Silva and Aguero that started when City was nothing. Because let's be honest, City was a banal team. And he won everything with Manchester City until Guardiola went there and, they didn't have the best relations. And then he won in Greece. I think he won in France. He won the African tournament, the continental tournament. Okay, I never know the name of that one. He won that with the Ivory Coast. Then again, he's recognized as an icon in Africa. So I think that one should be an icon. I don't think the hero cards for next year are not being well balanced. I think there are other players that deserve to be heroes, and the heroes deserve to be icons. Okay. And I'm going to tell you a question. I'm going to take over this podcast now. Tell me a player you'd like to see. I'm sorry.
You already. Oh, what's up? What's the question?
Okay, I'm going to say a question. Tell me a player besides Park, obviously, that you'd like to see as an icon.
Oh, that's a good question. I think in the past I wanted guys like Beckham. So they included him, which is great. Obviously Park. I want to see. Actually, my response will lead to a question back to you. Okay. I want to see a United States player icon. That's fair, right?
Good.
Yeah.
I think Dempsey would be a really good shout.
Now, I don't mind Dempsey getting an upgrade from a hero to icon because he was really good at his time.
Yes.
And he was a great striker. He played in the Prem as well. So he's worthy of a note. Do you see anybody else in there? An icon for a US guy?
Tim Howard.
That's what came to mind too. Tim Howard. Yes. As a
keeper. Dude, he was so good at this time. I remember it gets when I start talking about these icons and heroes, the first thing I remember him, and then my mind goes to, I remember when I was a kid and older people would be like, I remember this guy play. Okay, I got to that point. Because nowadays, when the 20-year-old player starts playing, when I was younger, I was, this guy. Now that I'm 35, I go this kid. And that's when I realized I'm getting old. But yeah, Tim Howard would be I remember him playing for Everton. I remember he did the World Cup game. The guy didn't let anything in. I remember, I think it was 2002 or something like that. I remember everyone was raving because Tim Howard did this crazy game. He was saving everything. And he had the visual at the time that everyone's rocking now, which is bald head and now the big beard. He had
Yeah.
that like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I would go with Tim Howard. I think Pulisic is in the run. If he continues to go like this, he's in the run to become a very good icon because I love Pulisic. He's a very good player.
Yeah, but Pulisic will be like years down the line, you know. We're talking about right now.
Yeah, but I'm in the future, yeah.
Right. Howard, yes, I agree with you. I'm trying to think right now. Another name that comes to mind is do you know Landon Donovan?
Yes, I know Landon Donovan. I remember him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember him playing, but I remember the name. I remember him like he used to. Doesn't he have like an academy in the US or something like that?
I don't know. He might. I wouldn't be
surprised.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. But I remember. I do remember him. Yeah, I do remember him. But yeah, Dempsey and Tim Howard are more fresh in but yeah, I do remember Donovan. You know what I would like to see?
Okay.
And this is going to be.
Yes.
I would like to see, since it's a fantasy game, okay, I would like to see, and I'm telling this because I love the States female team. I think you have a very good female national team. I would love to see, like an ultimate team, they start putting women since it's. I think I would love that, and then you could play it. Then you could have like a good American-wise national team. Like you can go with one side, you can put all Americans. I don't know. I think Alex Morgan is not playing anymore, right?
I don't know. Is she?
I don't think she's just playing anymore. You had that rapier. I'm forgetting her first name. But yeah, you have very good. I would love to see like they integrate in the ultimate team the female players. I think it would be really. I think it would be interesting. I think it'd be interesting.
That would be interesting.
No, I think because it would be really okay. It would be really hard to do because obviously you can't. This is wrong what I'm going to say, but I'm not saying with mean intent. But you can't put the best female player on par with the best, let's say like Ronaldo or Messi. You can't give like 95 to Ronaldo and 95 to Putellas, which is the best player in the world at this moment. You can't give them both 95, understand? Yeah. Unless you want to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't think, because let's be honest, the male football scene is draws a little bit more, and even in terms of physicality, you can't give like Ronaldo 99 strength in the same, and a woman 99 strength. There has to be a little bit of a balance. But I would love to see like let's say a 91 rated Putellas, for example, if Alex Morgan is still playing an 88 for Alex Morgan. And I think it would give some fresh thing to the ultimate team, putting women in the game. Doesn't have to be. I would go more with nations than clubs because they're a bit more off leagues. You know, I would focus more on the national aspect. But because the chemistry next year is going to be completely different, you can mix and match. I don't think clubs would be any more important.
Yeah, that's an interesting suggestion. That's the first one I've heard.
I would love it. I'm telling you.
Oh well, they already have it for pro clubs. They got all the females, the co-ed pro clubs.
I think it's baby steps. I think they're testing. I think it's baby steps.
Yeah, I can see that. I'll tell you this though. In FIFA 20, I wanted to play with the women's team, right? In this for season, I think it was seasons. I was trying to find a match. I couldn't find anybody. No one wanted to play with all women's. I was like, I want to try the US team.
Yeah, look, I tried that. When the thing is, when it comes to FIFA, if they sold me only the ultimate team, I would only play the ultimate team because I don't play anything else. But when they announced the female football, oh yeah, I had a blast with people. I had friends coming over here. We tried it, and very good players. That's why I'm telling you. There would have to be some balancing, obviously, but they're really good players, and I think they would fit perfectly in the ultimate team ambience. I think it would be really interesting, and everything more fresh. I think the ultimate team needs to be, besides or maybe, you know what EA could do? EA, if you're watching this, I won't charge you for this idea. Make a promo. Just make a promo with the best players to test everything. And if people like the idea, then you can implement on the next FIFA.
That's a good suggestion. That'd be interesting.
I know. Look, if I had money, I would buy players. But if I'm broke, of course, I'll do just the SBC and have a female player on my team. And yeah, I think I would love to have that. I would like it.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. That's pretty fascinating. So let me ask you this. I know it's we're over an hour in, so I want to ask
like
you.
Last time,
dude. Last time I think we went. I think
almost
it was also over. I think it went over.
Yeah.
Did it?
I remember.
No, actually, almost 2 hours. You're right. It's
almost 2 hours. I think it was an hour and 40 something. It was really, but let's be honest. The first hour, it's talking about me and where I live.
Right.
And the second, this one is more FIFA oriented.
Right. I was gonna say it was the longest podcast, but that's not the case. The longest one was our Christmas one. That was really long. That went almost close to 3 hours.
Well, that means you have good content, man. If people are willing to talk, it's because your questions are incisive, which is one of the most important things. It's incisive, and it promotes conversation. So, like you said, I take over I'm taking over your podcast, but it's because you're giving me the best questions, and I'm trying to give you the best replies.
Yes, absolutely. So one of the questions I wanted to ask was, what games are you looking forward to besides FIFA? Are there, because I know you stream a lot of other stuff too. So are there other games that you're looking forward to?
This is far from being a promotion, okay? This is far from being a promotion, but because you're asking this, there's a game coming out in 2 days on the 20th from an indie developer. It's called Mango Mischief. So the name of the game, it's a JRPG. And the guy gave me the game. Again, not a promotion. I'm telling this from my heart. And the guy gave me a copy for me to do a review. And I was completely addicted to the game. So, and because I already played it, I won't be buying it. But if I tried the game just like a demo, I would buy this game, which is really good. But more AAA games. I would go. We had the Final Fantasy presentation 2 days ago. So I'm really hoping for Crisis Core, which is an action-oriented RPG based on the Final Fantasy VII universe.
Wait, a new Crisis Core? They already made a Crisis Core, right?
They're going to... I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking, okay?
Okay.
They say it's a remaster, and you watch the trailer, and it's a shot-for-shot remaster with upscale graphics, like PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 graphics, which is awesome. And clip this for the future. What they're going to do is, because spoilers for a game that's over 10 years, but Zack dies at the end of the game on the original, on the PSP. I even have the PSP from that game. That's how much I liked Final Fantasy, and I still do. And what they're going to do on this one is basically I think at the end of the game, you're going to think, oh, he's going to die. But he's going to survive. He's going to survive. And it's going to be the parallel universe, because they're doing that now on the Final Fantasy franchise. They're doing like parallel universes. And the story now is going to change. So I think it's going to create spin-off. You're going to have now Crisis Core 1, then Crisis Core 2, Crisis Core 3. I think that's what's going to happen. I think. But we'll see. More games. Let me see. FIFA 23. Where I'm expecting for FIFA 23. Final Fantasy 16. The God of War. I'm gonna have so much fun with that game. I love God of War. I'm waiting for God of War. I can't remember so many games. I'm trying to remember, but these are the ones that are coming to mind. The games that I wanted to play this year already came out, which Pokemon Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are going to come
Yeah.
out as well. And it's fun because it's based in the Spanish and Portuguese landmasses. You know
Okay.
that every Pokemon, it's like there's one that's France, the last one I think was Scotland and stuff like that. This one is going to be based like Portugal and Spain, mostly
Okay.
Spain. So it's Portuguese. I'm hoping for a Portuguese styled Pokemon. We're waiting. Everyone's waiting for obviously GTA 6. Everyone wants to play GTA 6, but we don't know when that's gonna come out. I'm very hyped. I think it's in 4 days. You guys in America already have, but I'm very hyped for the new PlayStation Plus format, which is almost like the Game Pass. You know, it's gonna have a lot of games. I want to try the new Assassin's Creed mode, which they're gonna release a new Assassin's Creed mode that has roguelike elements. Like you're gonna play with Odin, and you're gonna have like a dungeon. From what I understood, and then you go to that dungeon and you do like roguelike. You get items, you continue, die, you lose everything, come back to the start. I want to try that as well. But like I was saying, I think the games that I like the most are already played this year.
Sure. So I know you told us you're an RPG guy, right? And then you already expressed about Final Fantasy. Now, you probably don't know this about me, but I also like RPG.
Nice.
And I'm mainly a Final Fantasy guy. So
awesome. Best Final Fantasy. No, don't think. Best Final
7.
Fantasy.
That's my favorite.
Of course it's 7.
Of course it's 7. You know what I've heard though? I heard in the community people say 6 is the best, but I never played 6. Have you played 6?
I've played 6. I'll explain, giving a small comparison. But this Final Fantasy, it's like Doctor Who. I don't know if you know the series Doctor Who. But basically, I'm just going to give like a very, it's an alien that travels through space. And every time he dies, his body changes. But of course, it's always like human. And there's been like 13 different versions of that character. 13 different versions. And like everyone has a different one. And normally the favorite one is the one that you started with. Like me, I like the 10th Doctor. One of my best friends, she started like a little bit later. Her favorite is the 11th Doctor, which is a different version. And I think Final Fantasy is like that. For me, 7 is the favorite. I know people that prefer 9. A lot of people say that 6 is the best. And yes, I've played 6 and it has a very good story. And if they did a remake of that game, I would definitely buy. But a lot of people don't like to play that game. It's because of the graphics. The graphics at the time, like there were like the sprites, you go. And for us, I assume since you like 7, I'm going to go old school gamer. We can still play those types of graphics. This game that I was telling you about, Mango Mischief, it's sprites that go. I can play that game. But kids nowadays that like, let's say 10, 11, so on, they don't like to play with sprites going around. They like the 3D animations, the big worlds to explore, all those types of things. And Final Fantasy VII differs in that with 6, because when it comes to graphics, just something, it wasn't the best one at the time, but it changed a lot. Like it was a 3D model in a 2D background, and that changed. And the story is really good. Like the first game with a very big 3D open world. So it changed a lot. I prefer 7, but I think 6 could be one of the best. And if you look at stories, like online, if you see a review of the game, it has a very, very interesting story. And some weird stuff that you can do. Like there's a character that you assume it's supposed to die, but you can save him. There's a secret way to save him. There's a battle, which I'm sorry, I'm rambling on, but this is the last part about the game. But this is why 6, I know it's really good. And there's like a boss fight, which is the mimic. And when you start the boss fight, first thing you do is let's fight. And if you fight, you die. But with the mimic, if you stand still for like 2 minutes, the boss will be like, oh, this is boring, and leaves, and you win the match. So it does kind of unique things that some games haven't done yet.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, because when you look at the Final Fantasy series, you definitely see the evolution of gaming through just one series, and you already mentioned from 6 to 7 the difference between that, and a game like 7 that's regarded as one of the most classic games, one of the top games at the time
Yeah,
as well, of all time too, because
all
that's
time.
like a huge part of gaming,
Yeah,
and you go from I played 8. I haven't played 9. But you go from
yeah,
9 to 10, that's when they included voices. And the graphics got even better, And
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
now you got dialogue in there, and then from 10 on, I mean, the evolution of the gaming in the series has been crazy. And I played 15 too in the remake. 7
Hmm.
remake and 15. I know 15 got a lot of criticism on. I don't know if you played
Yeah.
that one.
No, I've played like the only Final Fantasies that you can say that I haven't played like
Yeah.
seriously. It's basically, well, I've played the first ones like until 6. I kind of played it. I dabbled. That's the right word. I dabbled around it. But from 7, the only ones I could say I haven't played was Final Fantasy 11, which was online,
Right.
which then changed to 14. I played a little bit 14, and Final Fantasy 13 Part 3 I didn't play. Like from 7 until 15,
Got
I
it.
just didn't play 11 and 13 Part 3. And I'm going to tell you this, from 10, I don't like the games from 10 forward. I think Final Fantasy 12, which I have a copy here because my girlfriend, she knows I like Final Fantasy. So she gave me a copy. I've tried it now as an adult to play. I don't like the battle system. I hate the battle system. I played 13. I liked the story. I didn't like the battle system because you just control one person. I hate that. I don't think that's the essence of Final Fantasy. I don't like the fact that the game is very linear, which is again another thing that's not Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy is you start like this and then gradually goes like this. And then on Final Fantasy 13, you start like this, you keep going like this. Then at the ending of the game goes like this, but then closes again. It's very linear. I don't like that. 13 part 2, I liked it. I like because it was time travel elements. I do like time travel. 15, they did the world perfect. I like the world that's completely open. The story
Yes.
could be better because you needed to do a lot of background stuff. It's like watching a Marvel movie. Like nowadays, if you go, let's say you went to see Doctor Strange, right? You went to see the Multiverse of Madness that just came out a few weeks ago. You know, you
Yeah.
remember the movie. If you didn't watch WandaVision, you're like, why is Wanda evil? Where did she get these powers? Who the hell are those kids? And they did the same thing with Final Fantasy 15. Like you start the game, oh, who's these guys? What's this? And you had to watch a movie. You had to play like a small prequel, like a 2D fighter prequel. You had to watch an anime series. You had to do like a bunch of homework to go to 15. And I think that's the mistake. But the world was perfect. I loved riding around with the regalia all over the
Right.
world. Then fly. The DLCs were really good. I think the end of year 1 and year 2 of 15 was pretty solid. I'm waiting for 16. I think 16 is going to be perfect because it's a medieval aspect with the combat system from the Final Fantasy 7 remake, which was perfect.
So okay, so yes, going back to 15, yeah, I agree with you. The open world thing was pretty cool. The storyline was a bit lacking due to, like you said, there needed to be more background info on what was going
Yeah,
on there, and there's a
yeah,
lack of it.
yeah,
Um, I did like the concept of it. The concept was really
yeah.
interesting.
The concept was
Yeah,
really
but
good,
it was just a
and
little lacking in detail with the
the combat
build up.
system were really good.
Right, exactly. Then let me ask you this. This will be my last question. We'll end on
As
the
many
Final
as you wish, man.
Fantasy RPG. So, what do you think of the remake then? What do you think of the Final Fantasy VII remake? I know they're gonna make 3 parts to it.
Three
They're
parts.
working on the second part. You
Yes.
just mentioned Crisis Core, which is news to me.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Um, how does it compare to the old one? What do you think of? Obviously, the graphics will be better, but what do you think of the battle system and the storyline? Because I feel like the storyline is a little different. They added a little more to it, but I don't
Mm.
know how does that. How do you feel about that?
Um, Again, when they say it's when they said Final Fantasy VII remake, they tricked a lot of people because it's not a remake; it's a re-sequel. Let's say like that, because
Mm,
it's remaking like the graphics and everything, but it's making a new story. That's why I'm telling you, Crisis Core, when it comes out on the PlayStation, they're making things look like it's the original, but they're gonna change the ending. I think that's gonna happen. I I thought I was gonna hate the combat system. I really thought I was gonna hate the combat system because I was like, no, Final Fantasy is turn-based. No, don't do that because they made the game like 12 a little bit more action-based. I didn't like the combat system. 15, I didn't like the combat system at the start and I started to enjoy. This one, you have the two options. You can go with the turn-based system, like it's the classic mode. There's
mm-hmm.
an option for that. And then you have the normal combat mode. And I I understand what they managed to make things more fluid because let's say for 12, the characters didn't think by themselves. So when they think by themselves, it's like they were very mechanical. They only did that. They couldn't think by themselves. You should say only white magic. They only did white magic. They didn't do anything else. On 15, they improved the combat. They were smarter. And on this one, and it's funny that we're talking about that. I was like, oh, I might stream today. And it's because everyone's talking about Final Fantasy. I downloaded Final Fantasy VII to the remake to stream a little bit, to play with my friends because I like it a lot. And the combat system was actually one of the biggest surprises, besides the ending, because they started changing some stuff, like those spirits going around. I was like, oh, that's to make it a little bit different. But then by the end, you realize it's not a remake, it's a re-sequel. They're making a multiverse thing. Then you realize that the original Final Fantasy, it's its own thing. And this at the end of that game becomes its own thing because you never fight Sephiroth at the end of Midgar, for example, like they do on this one. And I think the reason they're doing this is because they expanded the Final Fantasy VII world with Crisis Core, with Dirge of Cerberus, with the movie they expanded, and they're like, okay, so we expanded the world in such a way, but all these things that we expanded, they don't fit the original game. So what they're doing is all these things they expanded, they're going to transfer to a different multiverse, and they're going to start from there. So people already know Genesis. So let's make Genesis, let's say, a playable character on the new Final Fantasy, which is why I think they're doing their remaster of Crisis Core.
I see.
Because I'm sorry, before I shut up, the last thing. But when you see the Final Fantasy Rebirth, okay, when you see the logo, you see that the logo is red like Genesis. Like the same color pattern is the same as the color pattern for Genesis from the Crisis Core game. Because you played, and I think they're gonna implement Genesis in the Final Fantasy Rebirth storyline, and that's why they're putting Crisis Core now as remaster. So newer players know who Genesis is. So when they play the second one, the second Final Fantasy, the Rebirth, they don't go like, oh, who's this guy in the red jacket? I think that's their idea.
I see. Those are some great points.
Okay.
Yeah, I do like. I honestly, overall, I did enjoy the game. I did enjoy part one of the remake. It was a lot of fun, and at the time, it was the pandemic too, so it's like I had something to
I
do. So
I was sorry. I remember at that time the game was so good. I was I was doing my studies. I was doing a master's degree in management, and like teacher, the professor would be talking, and I would be like this playing Final Fantasy. And then we would listen to the classes like
Okay.
later.
Uh-huh.
And I was listening to the classes and I forgot to mute, and you can hear like the sort of like,
Oh my
oops.
gosh. Oh my
So
goodness.
yeah, I was like red faced so on that situation. But yeah, that's how good the game was. I wasn't paying attention to class. I was just playing on the
Right.
PlayStation.
Right. But anyways, yeah, the battle system's great. You know, the turn-based combination along with what do you call the other battle system? Like
So it's the classic one. So you had the classic one, which is the turn-based original
yes, the
one.
turn-based,
And
and then what would you call the other one?
uh, I would go like the action base. I actually
Okay,
don't know the name because I never
got it.
played the classic. I had so much fun with what they made that I didn't, because you could choose, like you can go with the R1, you choose go around changing characters, doing attacks. It was really good,
Right. It's
really
like
well
it's
done.
like a combination of turn-based and like this
Action.
modern day action-based
Yeah, basically.
battle system.
Basically.
But the combination that was really interesting, it was fun to play. I think more than anything for me with the RPGs is I like the storyline. The
Mm-hmm.
storyline is what gets to me. And Final Fantasy VII had a great storyline,
Yeah, that was
right?
sorry. Yeah.
So when they make the remake and when they're adding new things, I guess my only thing would be I understand if they're adding new things, but I personally wouldn't want it to drift too far away from the important parts of Seven, because then you're going away from what you already created. I don't mind them adding new things to it, like fillers or like side stories that could have happened in the original.
Mm-hmm.
But for me personally, it's like the original was what captivated me in the first place. So I
Mm-hmm.
want him still to stick to the original to a certain extent. Like at least the main things, you know what I mean?
Maybe you won't like this, but I'll ask you one question, and if you let me continue, I'll continue. But
Okay.
I've seen some, like they said, some leaks from some YouTubers. They read leaks on 4chan,
Yeah.
and there's like a very big leak, but could be a lie as well. Can I tell you, because you're a Final Fantasy VII fan? I don't know. Can I tell you what this leak might be?
Sure, you can tell me. I don't care.
What they're saying is, you remember at Arif dies, right? At the City of the Ancients.
Yes.
This time, Aerith is going to survive and Cloud is going to die. And then you're going to play with Zack.
Oh my gosh. Are you serious? That's what they're gonna
Hey,
do?
that's why I didn't want to tell you. I think they're going to do that. And and the thing is, I hope they don't do that. Okay, I hope they don't do that. But the thing is, it's a new game. After that ending,
Uh-huh.
it is a new game. I don't think they're gonna go with. Oh, there's another one. Okay, there's another one. Not as serious, but you know the fight in Rocket Town with Palmer. You know the small fat guy from Chinra.
Yeah.
Remember it before the play? You're gonna have that fight, but Sephiroth shows up and Palmer mutates into a monster, which is weird because Palmer doesn't have Genova cells in him. So for him to transform into a monster, that means he has Genova cells in him. That's basically. So what I'm trying to say is, don't cling. I think they might hit like famous areas. Like I think they're gonna the Midgar Zolom, that giant snake. You're gonna do the chocobos. You're gonna go to Junon. You're gonna have key areas, and it's gonna be very similar. But I think they're gonna change some aspects of that from what they told from the leaks. I'm good with leaks because what happens is when it's almost time for the game to come out, I just disconnect and I forget everything. I have that, I can do that trick. So I can read them now and then I forget and hope it's a lie. But my advice to you as a Final Fantasy VII fan is don't cling to the classic, because I think it's going to be way different from now on. And that's what they tell you with the ending of Final Fantasy VII Remake and the DLC, the Yuffie DLC. they basically tell you it's going to be a different game from now on with
Mm.
characters that you know.
Yeah. See, that's where I personally, this is just my personal taste. I don't mind if they make something, a different storyline, completely different if it continued on. You know what I mean? But if you're doing a remake of like the original story and you're changing the story, that's just that's too much. If Zach is the one, if Cloud's the one that dies and Zach comes back, okay, that's just getting weird. Okay.
Look, I'm not. Look, from early Final Fantasy VII, before Crisis Cores and movies and so on,
Yeah.
I always had a fascination who Zach was. Like, I remember I was playing Final Fantasy VII and already on the last CD, and I was exploring the world trying to find shit up because I was a young kid. I had time to explore that thing. And I go to the Chindra mansion and I go to the bottom, and it unlocks a secret dialogue basically, and it shows how Cloud and Zack escaped and how Zack died. And I always had the fascination who Zack was, so Crisis Core was perfect for me. And I would always like to see Zack like with the team. Because it was fake, but before the internet, because we're still, well, at least I am before internet. We used to have magazines, video game magazines. So every 2 weeks I would have to buy a video game magazines, and there would be a section that would go like tips and tricks. And there was, well, nowadays I know it's fake, but there was a way to revive Zack. So I spent hours trying to do this thing to revive Zack, and it would never work. Of course, as I got older, I realized it was a fake. Zack wouldn't come out, but I always had a fascination for him. And I want, me as a fan, I don't want Cloud to die, but I would like to see Zack as a member of the team. Because if you look at the original 8 characters, or 9 if you want to count Aerith, there's no leader besides Cloud, and it's a big group. And I think having 2 leaders, one like Zack and one like Cloud, would be interesting to see how would react. But again, it's the Zack fanboy in me that wants him to join. I know that story-wise doesn't make any sense, because I'm like you. I think if you're going to make a remake, make it beautiful, but stick to the pattern that we already know, because if you deviate from that pattern, could make a lot of people angry.
That's great. Before I let you go, I'm gonna give you one final question, because we have gone a long time, over an hour 30.
I love being here with you. And again, people are going to say the same thing, so I'm going to apologize. Sorry, I talk way too much.
It's okay. You're allowed to talk here.
Thank you, man.
Who's Cloud's girlfriend? Is it Tifa or Aerith?
Tifa.
It's Tifa, right? Because Aerith belongs to Zack.
You know why Aerith likes Cloud so much?
Because he resembles Zack.
Because what happened was, at the ending of Crisis Core, or that middle part of when Zack dies, Cloud is so traumatized that his personality, like he has, I don't know, some type of PTSD, and he grabs Zack's life story as his own story. In his head, he's Zack, but his name is
exactly.
Cloud. That's what happens. And he walks and acts like Zack.
Right.
And Aerith likes Cloud because he reminds Aerith of Zack. That's the only thing. Which I'm going to tell you, I think it's a very big plot twist, because like she knows he has the Buster Sword, and she sees Cloud with the Buster Sword, and she doesn't go like, oh, we all have the same weapon in Soldier, for example. And then as the game progresses, and the original Final Fantasy in this case, and Cloud returns to who he is, you notice the change in Tifa, and she becomes more herself. And I think it's Tifa that's the girlfriend and not Aerith. And I think the game makes it clear. Because they kill Arif, so she can't be the girlfriend. That she's just a very very good friend. So I'm
Right, right,
Tifa all the
right.
way. Tifa.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, because Cloud has like a whole identity crisis, and then
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
and then he finds himself towards the end, and then oh, spoiler alert. But
Yep.
hey, who
Yeah,
knows?
for
You could watch the remake and watch Cloud die instead of Aerith. So
I'm telling you, if they do that, it's hey, it's gonna be groundbreaking. Everyone's gonna be like, "What the fuck did they do?" From, but I don't think they'll change characters in the middle of the game because the idea is if they're going to make it's 3 games they've confirmed. They're thinking that the second one will go until the northern crater where when the meteor comes. I
yeah,
think the game's gonna, and then the third game, it's them trying to find clouds, trying to go to Midgard,
right.
try to finish the game basically. So I don't think, because if they do that in the second game, if they kill clouds, they'll kill Cloud in the middle of the game, and then they'll get Zack. And plot-wise, I don't think that's the best idea to change main character in the middle of the story.
Got it. Well, um, thank you for being here with us,
And
Fubu. Thank you
dude,
so much.
Koballa,
I appreciate you.
thank you
We had a
so much for
great
being here.
conversation.
Thank you so
Uh,
much.
talking
It's
about our
always an
interests.
honor. Yeah, it's an honor
Absolutely.
to be here. It's an honor. You're, again, it's not kissing ass because I don't do that, but you're one of my favorite people that I've met this year. Not look, even if you didn't invite me twice to come here, just hanging with you on your stream, it's really a pleasure. One of the highlights meeting you and like many others that I met this year, but you're on my top as the favorite ones. And you keep doing what you're doing, and you'll grow a lot. You'll be a star. And I just wish the most success in the world to you. That's what I can wish to you.
Hey, thank you so much. Likewise, I wish you all the success in the world and wish you all the best. Shout out to Soulstraw and Fire FIFA for coming through
Oh my
right
God,
now.
Soulstraw is here.
Oh, is he your guy? Soulstraw Media?
Oh, dude, I love Soulstraw. Oh, I love, dude. He's always busting my balls that I'm playing FIFA. He wants
Hey,
me to play RPGs and stuff like that. He's
nice,
always,
nice. Hey,
he's always
shout
here.
out to him.
Soulstraw, how you doing,
Appreciate you
man?
guys coming through. Yes. What are your links so people could follow you?
My links. Okay, like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, I made a new Twitch account,
Yeah.
which is basically FUBU87 competitive.
Mm-hmm.
The logo is the same, everything is the same. If you put FUBU87, you'll find my normal RPG channel, and then you'll find the competitive. So if you want RPGs, you go to FUBU87. If you want FIFA and maybe other multiplayer games, competitive, you can go to FUBU87 competitive. I have a TikTok, which I'm loving TikTok. I'm just trying to figure out the audio issues. But I'm loving TikTok. I think it's a great way to interact with people. Also, FUBU is TTV FUBU87. If you put FUBU87, you'll find me. The logo is always the same. You have Instagram, you have Facebook, which I don't use that much. But yeah, those are basically the links. Just FUBU87 everywhere, and you'll find me.
Awesome. We'll drop the links in the description below. Thank you guys so much for coming through. Fubu, if you could stay a little bit after, talk a little bit, that'd be great. For everybody else, I will catch you guys on the next one.